This is WPTV, William Patterson Television.
Welcome back to the desk. The trade deadline is around the corner, and to talk about everything, we've got Phritz Napoleon, Bijan Pulley, Andrew Ballistreri, and Trent Troller. Guys, before we get into the trade deadline, we had some action in the South last night as the Jags traveled to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Bally, take us through this one.
We absolutely did have some action. We'll take a look at the highlights from that game. It was a little bit of a snooze fest for a while, then turned into a good one. Here we see Trevor Lawrence had a knee injury with that brace on. He ended up playing in this game. He's moving around pretty well, though, for a little knee injury. Travis Etienne, a nice little 2-yard touchdown run there, 1 of 2 on the day. He had a solid night himself. Overall, it was a good game for the Jaguars. Here we see a nice little flip to Etienne right at about the 20-yard line, and he just pounds right through that one. His second touchdown of the day. Fantasy owners love this one. Derek Carr dropping back, going to throw this ball, batted up in the air and intercepted by the Jaguars. Alua Khan gets this nice little pick six here to put him up 24-9. But don't worry, there's still plenty of time in this game. Taysom Hill, 4th and 1. You know what's coming. It's a touchdown for Taysom Hill. Bring this game within 8 points early on in the fourth quarter. And then here we go, 6 minutes left. A beautiful ball here to Michael Thomas, and he reels that one in. Slant boy, not so bad when he's not running a slant route, gotta admit. And here we see on this 2-point conversion coming up, Alvin Kamara wide open in the end zone there. Trevor Lawrence gonna drop back on this one, tie game. Christian Kirk, a nice little, easy little route, but he's just gonna keep going on this one and bring this one in for a touchdown. 3 minutes left. They go up by 7, and Foster Moreau wide open in the corner of the end zone, and he drops it. He had too many Butterfingers. We're close to Halloween. He loves his Butterfingers, and he drops the ball. Saints stink. They lose this game. Derek Carr is washed. Get Famous Jameis in there and get Foster Moreau. Ship him off to China.
Whoa. Strong feelings there about the Saints.
That's all right.
I respect it, though.
Thanks.
It's passionate.
It is.
Passionate.
And Calvin Ridley, before I forget. Calvin Ridley, pathetic game in fantasy, and I'm really upset about that.
I can imagine. I mean, I'm an ETN fan. I have him, so I'm a big fan. But Fritz, what did you see from that game?
You know, I think that the Jags have cemented themselves as one of the most complete teams in the AFC right now. You know that their offense is really good. You know, Trevor Lawrence is really coming to his own this year, but I really liked what I saw about from the defense in this last game. Really stepping up and really being able to take over the game and ease it out. So, really liking what I see from them.
No, I agree. I mean, that was a fun game. Trent?
I mean, personally, I find New Orleans' play calling just to be very frustrating. Every time you're close to the end zone, it's kick a field goal when it's, say, 4th and 1. You're not going to get points that way. Sure, you're getting the field goal, you're getting 3 points, but as we saw, the game was within 1 field goal. If you go and you score that touchdown, then you actually win the game, and you're not going to get that with the safe play calling that they've had.
Yeah, Bijan, quickly just take us through what you saw from that game last night.
The play calling, as Trent brought up by Pete Carmichael, really bad. That he needs to be fired. Derek Carr, he was not good until that last drive for the Michael Thomas touchdown. Like, don't let those last 6 minutes fool you. Derek Carr, they need to pack him up. And the Jags, they look like one of the best teams in the AFC. I think they still got to find that, they got to coincide offensively, but I think they're really coming together and look like one of the premier teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But heading on to some more impressive wins. The Browns and the Jets both pulled off impressive wins against the undefeated 49ers and the Eagles. I want to start with you, Trent. Whose win do you think was more impressive?
I mean, maybe... No, I got to go with the Jets, man. Come on.
Mean,
why would I even try to act like I'm going for the Browns? You have the Jets go in there, force 4 turnovers, pick the ball off of Jalen Hurts 3 times. Not many teams do that, and do all of that without the best cornerback duo in the league. Whatever. Yes. But you do that, get Bryce Huff 2 sacks, and he looks to be one of the best edge rushers in the league this year. Quinnen Williams with his first interception. Apologize. But just fantastic all around for that defense.
I can't even argue the Bryce Huff thing because he's played really, really well. But Bijan, whose win do you think was a little more impressive?
I got to go with the Jets as well, and that hurts to say as an Eagles fan. I don't like talking about it that much. It's part of the job, though. But they were able to keep the Eagles' powerful offense in check for the most part, despite being down their top 2 corners in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. They held the Eagles to 14 points, which is their lowest points they scored this season, and they were able to force 4 turnovers. And they held Jalen Hurts to his worst quarterback rating of the season with a 0.5 quarterback rating. So I got to go with the Jets.
No, I agree. Bally?
Well, I'm going to make it 3 for 3. Give me the Jets, baby.
Oh.
I mean, this is a great win for the Jets overall. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been out for a long time now. Zach Wilson finally starting to catch his stride a little bit. The defense looked amazing. Hurts was flustered. He threw his 3 interceptions. He's got 7 on the season now. People aren't talking about that yet. Just saying. Garrett Wilson, great game. And the Jets overall, good game plan going into this one. And they don't have a very hard schedule for the rest of the year. They can make some noise. They can definitely make the playoffs.
Yeah, there's potential there. And I imagine I know who you're taking, Fritz.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep on the desk, definitely with the Jets as well. Look, going in against the Eagles and really, after going down late in the fourth quarter, really rallying, really coming back. But one thing that I really liked is Zach Wilson. I didn't think I would be saying that, but every drive this year, or every single game that they do win, he shows glimpses and he shows little flashes. He's playing mistake-free football, and he's not throwing interceptions. He's limiting his turnovers. I'm really liking what the Jets are doing. Easy schedule. They can very easily be 6-3 after a couple of games.
I mean, I don't know how there's no love for the Browns here, right? There was a big difference between the undefeated team that is the Eagles and the 49ers.
Except
the
for
49ers were really,
49ers
really good.
missing Trent Williams.
That's
missing
true.
Deebo
That is
Samuel,
true.
Missing CMC.
Still, though, I mean, gotta give some love to the Browns here.
A little bit of love.
A little bit. Anyway, I mean, moving on from some really good wins to some really potentially bad teams, the NFL trade deadline is right around the corner, and some bad teams are going to be looking to offload some big contracts and older players for draft picks. Starting with you, Fritz, who do you think is on the move?
You know, I think you're really going to hate to see this guy move if he does, but I have to go with Jerry Jeudy for the Denver Broncos.
Sell the house. Sell the house.
But look, man, this team just really doesn't have an identity at this point. The offense is really stagnant. Look, for Jerry Jeudy, for the season, 20 receptions, no touchdowns, 222 yards. That's not what you want to see out of somebody that you expect to be your number 1 receiver. I definitely think that he just needs a new change of scenery, maybe a new quarterback pairing, new offensive coordinator to get him some open, scheme him open. So definitely think the Broncos need to just do a full factory reset. You know, sell the house, sell everybody, get Jerry Jeudy out of there so you can get a competent quarterback.
I like that idea. I really do. But, Bally, who do you think is on the move?
I got to go with the Raiders' star wide receiver, Devontae Adams. I mean, they just traded for him last year. He's only a year into a contract that runs until, I believe, 2026. But the Raiders overall, they're just not a good football team and without a good head coach and without a good quarterback. And, you know, he's disagreed with the way the team has been constructed, some coaching decisions, some play calling decisions. Overall, he's not happy. And the Raiders, they might be enticed. I mean, he's 30 years old now. They can get some young talent. They can get some pretty high draft picks for him still, so they might trade him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's already been complaining about his role in the offense and how he's been underutilized, which, if you're underutilizing Devontae Adams, there's a problem with your play calling. Let's be real. Bijan, who do you think is on the move?
I'm going to have to go with Justin Simmons. You know, the Broncos have the third worst
Sell the
record.
house.
Yeah, third worst record in the league right now. There are already rumors about them doing a fire sale, which they should. And there's already been Simmons, even though he's 31, he's still one of the best safeties in the game. And there's a lot of contending teams that could use his services. Howie, please make the call. And even though he is 31, there's only, after the season, there's only 1 year left on his contract. So whatever team trades for him isn't making a super long-term commitment. So I got to go with Justin Simmons.
No, I mean, again, I'm all for it. Just sell the house. Get me Caleb Williams, please. Anyway, Trent.
I mean, for me, I have to say Brian Burns out of the Carolina Panthers. Any team could use an edge rusher at any moment, so I'm sure any team would want him, especially a team with maybe 2 first-rounders. But Carolina needs a first-round pick. They don't have one this year. They shipped off this year's to Chicago, and now they're struggling. They need to give Bryce Young some amount of help, so the best way to do that is to ship off Brian Burns somewhere else and make sure they could get him his talent.
I agree. I mean, Brian Burns is a really good player, and a lot of teams could use his services right now as we're heading into the middle of the season. Trent, sticking with you, the Detroit Lions have been incredible to start the year, to say the least. I want to ask, who do you think is responsible for the Lions' success this year?
I mean, the answer is simple. Got to go for the top dog in the entire quarterback. Of all the quarterbacks in the NFL this year, got to go for a top dog, the top Goff, if you will, and Jared Goff. I love how he's been playing this year. Been fantastic, limited turnovers, only 3 interceptions to 11 touchdowns, 105.1 passer rating, and overall just really been leading this team to victory.
Yeah, no, I mean, Goff's been playing at an MVP level, like, seriously. But Fritz, who do you think it's been?
You know, It's one thing that definitely complements a really great offense is a defense that can hold it down. And one person that's helping out with that is Aiden Hutchinson, Defensive Player of the Year. He's in the running for it. He's been having a great season. Out of only 6 games, 4.5 sacks and a pick. One of the best spin moves in the game right now. Watching him rush the passer is just amazing at this point. I think the Lions are really going to make some noise, and having Aiden Hutchinson in that defense is really going to help them win some close games after coming up.
No, I agree. Aiden Hutchinson's been incredible since he burst out on the league last year. But Andrew,
I got to go with the schedule-making gods. I mean, these guys, they've had a cakewalk of a schedule to start off the season, and it's going to get, quite literally, it gets easier as the season goes on. I mean, listen, I'm not a Lions hater, but I'm not a Lions believer either. I mean, the only relevant opponent they beat was the Chiefs, and they didn't have Travis Kelce, they didn't have Chris Jones, and Kadarius Toney dropped about 8 balls that game, so they probably would have won that game. Listen, this schedule's super easy. They can win 13, 14 games. I don't think that they win a wild card game or a divisional game, especially if you go against an opponent like the 49ers or the Eagles, where their offense is just going to completely overpower that defense.
and
So what I don't get here is what you're saying is how many times on this desk have we said it's difficult to get a win in the NFL? And just because when a team starts winning, you say, oh, they have easy opponents, it means nothing. It doesn't matter. They're still getting quality wins. And just because the Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce, they still had Pat Mahomes in the back. And last time I checked, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Who did he have to throw to? Can you even
Regardless.
name a receiver on the Chiefs?
Okay, Kadarius Toney. You just
Kadarius
labeled him.
Toney, the guy dropped
he
8
dropped
balls.
it. Sure. Regardless, that doesn't mean they don't have a great defense on the other side. They have good players regardless. They still have a good offensive line.
Listen, they play the Ravens this week. That's going to be a good test for them, I think.
And they're going to beat them because Detroit might be one of the best teams in the league right now.
I disagree. I disagree.
I mean, we can agree to disagree. I
Sure.
mean, it's
For now.
strong points on both sides. But Bijan, closing us out, who do you think is responsible?
Man, you talked about Jared Goff, Trent, but we got to go to the man on the sideline calling the plays for Jared Goff. I got to go with Ben Johnson. The play calls and concepts he has been calling have been incredible. The run and the pass game is top 5 or at least top 10 in every good offensive metric. And while Goff is playing with great poise and anticipation in the pocket, you have guys running wide open. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like they really don't have a dominant outside wide receiver, but they're still getting guys wide open. And it's just Ben Johnson. I just love the way he's been calling plays and the play designs, the motions and all that. I just got to think we got to give Ben Johnson the praise he deserves.
They're probably going to be a head coach in the league next year if he decides to
Definitely.
leave. Would love if he used Jahmyr Gibbs a little more.
Yeah, seriously.
Save my fantasy team, please. And no love for Dan Campbell is a little weird. But while the NFL is only in the middle of their season, the MLB is getting close to the finale of theirs. The MLB playoffs are up next on WP Sports Desk.